Hello everyone, welcome to STEM Education. I'm Shaista Khan. Today we are going to study year 7, chapter 1, that is living things. So in this chapter, we are going to study about the living things, non-living things, the organ system which works inside the living things, and the different procedure, the different process. Why living thing is known as a living thing, why the another organism known or another thing is not considered as a non-living thing. In this chapter, we are going to study about that. So first of all, our very first topic, living thing. What is living thing? Why they're known as a living thing? Fine. So there are a few characteristics on the basis of which we can consider that this is a living thing and this is non-living thing. So there are following characteristic of the living thing. So we can now let me tell you about the characteristic of living things. The very first and the main characteristics of living thing is that living being or a living thing can move from one place to the another place. So if I'm saying that if I'm saying that the movement is the most important procedure, on the basis of that, you can consider that yes, this is a living thing. So you can ask me a question that plant is also considered as a living thing. So of course, plant is also considered as a living thing, but here I have told you only one characteristic, movement, but there is many more. Fine. On the basis of that, you can recognize, you can consider that this is a living thing. Fine. So first one is what? First one is movement. The first one is movement. Movement. Living being or living thing move from one place to the another place. So movement, what? Movement is what? It is an action. It is what? It is an action done by any organism. Done by an action done by organism. Movement is what? It is an action done by any organism or a part of organism. Or what is the meaning of action? It means change the position from one place to the another place. Fine. It means change of position, organism, or we can see that change of position or change in position, change of position. Change of position. Fine. Or place. So this is known as movement. Another characteristic is what? It's a respiration. It's a respiration. Another characteristic is what? It's a respiration. So here you can consider that plant is also, that's why plant is also considered in the category of, or came in the category of living organism, because plant also respirate. But as we know that a human being or a living organism or a multicellular organism respirate oxygen or inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. But if you talk about plant inhale carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen. But of course they respirate. Fine. So respiration is the another characteristic. So respiration, what is this? The chemical reaction which happens inside our body. The chemical reaction. The chemical reaction which happens inside our body. And why it is important? Chemical reaction that breaks the food. That breaks the food. That breaks the food or breaks down the nutritions. You can write food or a nutrition also. Nutrition breaks down the food or nutrition in living cell. In living cell, why? Living cell to gain energy. For what? To gain energy. To release energy. To release energy. To release energy. For what purpose? For the metabolism. For the metabolism. For metabolism. So, metabolism is what? It's a chemical procedure. It means when you are eating food, so during respiration, when you inhale oxygen, by the use of oxygen, food breaks down in the another form, it will convert into the glucose, and it is also releases a waste product which is known as the carbon dioxide. Fine. So this process is known as respiration. There is a slightly difference between the respiration and the breathing process. Fine. Next one is what? Next one is growth. The next characteristic is growth. That is growth. Growth is the another characteristic. A permanent increase. A permanent increase in the size, in the size of the body, and permanent increase in the size and mass, in the external and in the size and mass of body or cell membrane. Inside the cell membrane, where increase in cell membrane, cell size, or both? Cell membrane or cell size. See, growth is what? It is a permanent increase. It means when you grow once, you cannot decrease yourself. When your hand is already grown, you cannot decrease your hand size. And so plant, when once plant is increased or it's grown enough, so it cannot decrease its size. Cannot be an infant again. You cannot be infant again. You cannot be teenager again. If you are old enough, so you cannot be a teenager again. Understand? So permanent growth is what? It's a permanent increase or a permanent change. Permanent change in the size and mass of body. So when size and mass of body is increasing, it means our body cell is also increasing, or our body cell membrane is also increasing, right? And we all know that our body is made up of cells, number of cells. Clear? So our body is made up of cells, right? Plant is also made up of cells because plant is also a living organism. Fine. This is the basic characteristics. Next characteristic is sensitivity. Next is sensitivity. Sensitivity is the what? Is the ability to detect or sense the stimuli. It is ability to detect or sense. Detect or sense the stimuli. Detect or sense the stimuli. Fine. What is the stimuli in the internal? Tell you. In the internal or external environment. In the, I hope it is visible, internal and external environment. In the external and internal environment, and make appropriate response. And make appropriate response. And make appropriate or a suitable response. Make appropriate response. It means if I say that what is the meaning of sensitivity? It means if you feel like if you're having a hot tea, a hot cup of tea, when you put your finger inside the tea, you will feel that your finger started burning. So you will feel some kind of sensation. So you will just put away your hand from the tea. That is what? That is the stimuli. That is stimuli, and you did some action against the hot tea. It means ki you have shown some kind of response against the hot tea. Right. So that is known as the stimuli. So what sensitivity is the what? It is the ability to detect and sense the stimuli in the internal and external environment and make appropriate response. I hope it is clear to you. Fine. And the next characteristic is reproduction. Next characteristic is what? It's a reproduction. You must aware about the reproduction. Do you all know about the reproduction? Next characteristic is reproduction. Reproduction is a very, very important function or an important process. It means that reproduction is the process in which living organism, living organism produce their young ones of their own kind. That is known as reproduction. Reproduction is the process in which living organism produces their young ones of their own kind. Right? It's known as reproduction. Next characteristic is excretion. Next characteristic is excretion. Excretion is what? It is the removal of waste product from the body. It is the removal of waste product from our body, from the body. Is known as excretion. For example, if you talk about plant also excrete. Of course, it excrete in the form of waste. What is the waste material? Oxygen. Oxygen is the waste material of plant, right? And in the human, there are several. In human, we can consider waste material in three parts actually: solid waste, liquid waste, and a gaseous waste. The gaseous waste is what? It's a carbon dioxide. Okay, so excretion is the important procedure on which we can categorize a living organism. Yeah. Next one is nutrition. Next one is nutrition. Nutrition is the process of taking material for energy. The process of taking material, food material. Specifically, what material it is? It's a food material for growth. If it is visible, for growth, energy, growth, energy, and development. Fine. See, so we take nutrition in the form of food. But plants also take nutrition in the form from the inorganic source. For example, sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, they get nutrition and prepare its food. That is known as photosynthesis. The process is known as photosynthesis. So these are the characteristics, these are the main characteristics on the basis of we can consider that the organism and the things which is considered as a living organism. On the other hand, what is non-living organism? So if the organism which do not or doesn't came in the category or doesn't fulfill these characteristics is known as non-living organism. For example, plant, for example, water, for example, land, they never fulfill these characteristics. That's why they're known as a non-living things. Clear? So this is what? This is the characteristic of living things. Fine. So there's another topic on which one by one we will study in detail. The first topic is respiration. What is respiration? If you can see in your book, I hope you all are having your book. So you can check your book. I've already told you about the expression, growth, movement, the characteristic of living organism. So you can say that was the fuel of life, fuel for life. What is the fuel for life? So our food, our nutrition is what? It's a fuel for life. All living organisms need to make or take food for fuel, right? Fuel is very important. As you can see, a bike or a car or any other automobile, you can see that car or bike. So it needs a fuel to run faster or work properly. And so our body or any kind of a machinery, if you want to run a machinery, you need a fuel. So our body it's like a machine. So our bodies also need a fuel. So what is the fuel for our body? So our a food material and nutrients which we provide through the food is what? It works as a fuel for our body. Fine. And you know what? Plants don't need to eat food. We human beings and the animals, we need to eat food. But plant, it does not require to eat food because plant cannot move from one place to another place. So it cannot find food for themselves. That's why plants make their own food. That's why plant considered as an autotroph. But still, it came in the category of living organism. You know, some plants are what? Most of the plants came in the category of autotrophs, but some are what? Some are heterotrophs. For example, pitcher plant. Pitcher plant is what? It's a heterotroph plant because it gains its nutrition from the other source. Or what is the other source? It catches the insect. Fine. It catches the insects inside, trap the insect inside. You can look at your book and see the picture. The picture or Venus flytrap. Venus flytrap is another example of a heterotroph plant which get nutrition from the insects. Fine. So there are categories. There are two categories from where organism can get their food, or a plant also, because most of the plants are autotrophs, but some are what? Some are heterotrophs also. Fine. The next topic is respiration. Next topic is a very important topic is respiration. The very important topic is what? Respiration. You know what? What is respiration? Respiration is the process from which or through which living organism gain energy. It acquires energy through the food by breaking down of the food. Writing here. The process of what is respiration? Respiration is the most important process of living organism. Respiration is the most important process And respiration is what? The process of breaking down of food. Why to breaking down? To gain energy. To breaking down of food. Breaking down of food. Why? To gain energy. Breaking down of food in the cell. Where? In the cell of the body, of course. In the cell of the body. In the cell of the body. And release. Release energy as well as a waste product. Release energy as well as what is that waste product? That is carbon dioxide. It's called respiration. It's called respiration. It's called respiration. Respiration is what? It's the process of breaking down of food in the form of glucose and a waste product, which is carbon dioxide. Right? So how respiration happens? Respiration happens in the presence of oxygen. Means food, how food will break? Food will break down in the presence of oxygen by using oxygen. It will break down and form what? Convert in the form of glucose. And also releases a waste product, that is carbon dioxide. Okay. This is what? This is respiration. So here's the difference between respiration and breathing. You know what? Generally, we consider respiration as a breathing, like taking in oxygen and taking out carbon dioxide. But there is a difference between breathing and respiration. Breathing is what? Breathing is simply means taking in oxygen and taking out, inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. That is breathing. But respiration is what? Respiration is by using oxygen. Whatever you are breathing, like you are breathing, you are taking in oxygen. So by using that oxygen, breaking down of food or breaking down of food in presence of oxygen, that is known as respiration. And utilizing that energy, or after breaking food, it will convert into energy, give us energy in the form of glucose, and also releases waste product, which is carbon dioxide. Okay, so what is breathing? What is breathing? Breathing is the bodily process. The broad bodily process. The bodily process of inhalation and exhalation, or taking in oxygen and taking out carbon dioxide, the process of inhalation or exhalation. Or you can write taking in oxygen and taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide is known as breathing, right? And breathing happens where? Through our lungs. It happens through our lungs. So these are the basic difference between breathing and respiration, right? So it's all about our human being. It's all about human being, human organ system. But if we talk about the plants, what organs of the plant? There are some organs which is present in the plant. For example, like if you talk about human being, there's an organ system. Organ makes organ system in human being. For example, liver, lungs, skin. These are the organs of our human being. And so plant also have some kind of organs which involve, and that's why plant, there are several functions involved in plant, like respiration, preparing food. So we have to know that what is the specific organ which perform these kind of functions in the plant. Fine. So let's study about the organ system of plant. If you talk about plant, if you talk specifically about the plant, so a plant has many parts. As we all know, since our junior classes, we are studying that plant have several parts, right? If I draw a diagram of a plant, suppose this is a plant. It's a leaf. This is a plant. There's a stem. There's a leaf. So many leaves. This is what? This is stem. This is root, which penetrated inside the soil. This root. This is stem. This is branches. This is a leaf. This is flowers. Fine. This is what? This is flower. This is a rough diagram of a plant. So a plant has many parts. A plant has many parts. A plant has many parts. I think we all know, we all are familiar. Many parts are different parts, not many, but different parts. Different parts. Different parts. And each part performs different types of functions. Different parts perform different types of functions and different parts performs different functions. Performs different functions. Different functions, right? Different part performs different functions. And you know what? The part which is above the soil or upper part from the root is known as the shoot system. All these parts is known as the shoot system. I hope it is visible. Shoot system. And the lower part from the root is known as the root system. Is known as root system. I hope you all know about the types of roots. And there are several types of roots, like taproot and fibrous root. And there's one more, which is lateral root connected to the taproot. Okay, taproot, fibrous root, lateral root, and top root. Fine. So the upper part is known as the shoot system, and the lower part is known as the root system. Fine. So we will consider a part of the plant. A part of the plant is known as what? It's a stem. Stem has different type of function. Stem, leaves, flower, root, stem, leaves, flower, and root. Each perform different types of functions. Okay, so we'll also study about the different function of the plant. Like here we talk about root. Root is the most important part of the plant. Fine, most important, and the most important thing is what? It's an underground part. It's the most important as well as most important and underground. Underground part of the plant. Part of the plant. Fine. And what is the another important function? It absorbs water. What root does? It absorbs water and mineral and what? And send it to the stem so that stem can carry that water and mineral to the leaf, And what is the function of leaf? Leaf, by using water and mineral and the another inorganic substance like sunlight and a chlorophyll, it performs photosynthesis and prepares food. And that food, after that, after preparing the food inside the leaf, food is prepared in the form of what? In the form of starch, and that food will again goes through the stem to the another part of the plants. So these are the functions of stem, leaves, and roots. I hope it is clear. So root is what? Root also absorb. Root also absorb water and mineral from the soil. From the soil. Absorb water and mineral from the soil and first of all synthesize plant growth. It also synthesize plant growth. It also synthesize plant growth and store. You know what? Some root also stores the food. Some root also stores the food and store the reserve food material and stores reserve food material. You know what is that reserve food material? Which type of plant it is? Reserve food material, there's an example like carrot, radish. These are the example of reserve food material. Like this is what? This is a taproot, but that root reserve the food material that it's swollen up, and we will eat it in the form of, like if we talk about carrot, we eat what? We eat roots of the plant. We eat roots of the plant, that is taproot, in which root is stored reserve food material. And why it happens? Why it does? Because it stores food for the unfavorable condition, to protect themselves from the unfavorable conditions. Right? Next one is stem. Next is stem. Stem. Stem provides support to the plant. Stem provides support to the plant. Support to the plant. Stem provides support to the plant. They also protect the plant. They also protect the plant. They also protect the plant, right? And what is the another function of stem? It also protect the plants as well as help in vegetation and help in vegetation. Help in vegetation, or because vegetation or a vegetative propagation. Those are the same thing, vegetative propagation. It means you can grow a new plant from the stem also. It means you can grow a new plant from the stem also. For example, rose, you can grow a new rose plant by cutting the stem of the rose. A plant of a rose, you can cut the stem of the rose and you can grow another new rose plant from the stem. Fine. So these are the functions of the stem. There are many more functions. Like some stems grow underground. Some stems grow underground. For example, potato and ginger. Some stems grow underground. There are a few examples. For example, potato. And ginger are example of stem roots. They are the example of what? Stem root is known as stem root. Stem roots. Fine. So it grows underground. Fine. And why it happens? It how stems convert into a food material because it stores the food. Because it stores the food in the stems. That way converted into a food part or edible part, like potato and ginger are the stem roots. Okay. Stem connect to the root to the leaves. Stem, what is another function? Stem connects the leaves, connects the roots. Stem connects the roots to the leaves. The stem connects the root to the leaves. And what is another function? As I said, that root absorbs the water and mineral from the soil. And after that, it gives the water and mineral to the stem. And the stem send it to the leaves to prepare food. So it means leaves transport water and mineral, water and mineral to the leaves. Why? To prepare food, water and mineral to the leaves, so that it can prepare food in the form of sugar or in the form of starch, basically. Prepare food in the form of, and after that, after preparing food, again, the stems carries that food material from the seed. Leaves, root, stem. Stem transport water and mineral to the leaf. Why? To prepare food. And after preparing food, again, stem carries that food material from the leaf, from the leaves to the other part of the plant, other parts of the plant. Fine. So these are the functions of the stems. These are the basic functions of the stems. Stems carry water and mineral to the leaves, where leaves prepare food after performing photosynthesis, and after in the form of a starch. And after preparing food, again food is sent to the stem, so that stem can again send the food to the another part of the plant, including roots. Okay, so these are the function of the stem. Next is leaf. The basic function of the leaf is preparing food. Leaves, the basic function of the leaf is what? Preparing food. Leaves. Leaves are known as kitchen of the plant. Right? Kitchen of the plant. Do you know this? Known as kitchen of the plant. You know what? Why? Because leaves contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll Leaves contain chlorophyll and chlorophyll. What is the function of chlorophyll? Chlorophyll provides green pigment to the leaves or a plant. Chlorophyll provides green pigment to the plant or leaf. Green pigment to the leaf. To the leaves. Okay. And these chlorophyll helps to prepare food. To prepare food. How? By performing photosynthesis. By performing photosynthesis. Okay, so these are the basic functions of stem, root, and leaf. A leaf consists, if you see the diagram of the leaf, let me show you the diagram of the leaf. See, this is the basic diagram of the leaf. So leaf has several parts, which is known as, this part is known as leaf stalk. This part is known as leaf stalk, or you can call it petiole. This part, the part from where a leaf is joined to the stem. See, the part from where leaf is joined to the stem. So this part is known as leaf stalk. Leaf stalk or petiole or petiole. This is known as the petiole or a leaf stalk. This broad or flat part is known as lamina. This is known as lamina. This is vein. This is known as the middle part. A middle thick line on the leaf is known as midrib. Is known as midrib. Okay. The flat, broad part is known as what? Is known as lamina. Fine. This vein, this midrib, this petiole. Okay. Leaf base and lamina. So these are the parts of the leaf. Okay. The petiole keeps the leaf blade exposed to the wind and cools the leaf. What is the function of petiole? Petiole, what is the function? Petiole helps to connect to the plant, or petiole keeps the leaf blade, keeps the leaf blade exposed to the air. Exposed to the air or wind. And cools the leaf. Okay. This is a function of petiole. And leaf base is producing part of leaf. Leaf base producing part of leaf. Okay. So these are the functions of leaf. Okay. Fine. If we talk about specifically about the flower. So what is the function of flower? Flower is what? Is the reproductive part of the plant. Flower is what? A reproductive part of the plant. Flower is what? The reproductive part of the plant. Part of the plant. Flower is the reproductive part of the plant. There are some categories or you can say that there is some category or some parts of the flower you will study in your senior classes or in our coming chapters. For example, like stamen, carpel, pedicel, sepals, and petals. Fine. So the most important thing is flowers. Flowers is what? Flower is the reproductive part of the plant from where fruit is grown. From where fruit is grown, or another part in which seed is grown. Seed is grown, fine, and you can use the seed to grow a new plant. Fine. So these are the parts of the plant. Okay. The next topic is so these are the reproductive part of the plant. So there is a question in your book. You have to solve it. Okay. So these are the basic organ of the plant. These are the basic organ of the. So these are the specific main organ of the plant or main organ of the plant. As I said, in our next class, we will study about the main organ of humans. In our next class, we will study about the main organ of the human. So till here, you have to complete the homework, the question which is mentioned in the book. So for today, that is enough. That's all for today. We will meet in the next class, inshallah. So that's all. Thank you so much.